Hello dear students. So once again I am here, and today we will continue with the same chapter which we have studied in our previous class. So in today's class we'll be dealing with the computer languages. So a program serves the purpose of commanding the computer. So whenever we do work in a computer, so in order to make computer run, what a user has to serve as a command is a program. So a user will be writing some sort of program as a command to make use of computer or to make computer run. So the usefulness of a program depends not only on proper use of commands but also on the programming language it is written in. So now the use of computer not only depends upon the command that we give. Being a user, whatever command we give, computer does not depend only on that, but it also depends upon the programming language that we write in order to perform different sort of work there in a computer. So the two major types of programming languages are low level languages and high level languages, and these languages offer different features of programming. So that means in computer world there are two different types of computer languages. So one is called as low level languages and another is called as high level languages. Now these low level languages and high level languages, these two different types of languages use different features of programmings. Now let us start with the definition portion for these two different types of languages. So the first one is low level languages. So low level languages, these are the computer language consisting of mnemonics that directly correspond to machine language instructions. Now I'd like to go much in details about the low level languages. Now low level languages are machine oriented languages, and these languages require extensive knowledge of computer and its hardware. So in order to use low level languages, being a user, being a programmer, what we should know is we should know the extensive knowledge of a computer and the hardware. Now low level languages are of two different types, which are machine language and assembly language. So this machine language and assembly language comes under low level languages. Now the first one, machine language, in which instructions are written in binary code. So machine languages are the instruction that we give under this machine language. These are given with the help of a code named as binary code. So in which instructions are written in binary code. That means machine language use binary code to give any sort of instructions or commands. Now this binary code is made up of zeros and ones. So my dear students, we have already learned about the binary code in our previous class. So where we have learned about the binary code, and binary code is made up of ones and zeros, is the only language the computer can execute directly. That means under low level languages there are two more languages called as machine language and assembly language, and machine language use binary code to give any sort of instructions or command. Now assembly language in which instructions are written using symbolic names for machine operations. So under assembly language, now in order to give some sort of command or instruction, this language use some sort of symbols in order to give some commands. So some of the example of assembly language commands or instructions are read, R-E-A-D, read, ADD, add, STORE, store, etc. So these are some of the examples of the symbols that is used as the instructions or command there in assembly language. Now, sometimes this assembly language also uses operands. Now, this assembly program, now after converting into the machine language programming, assembly program is then converted into machine language using assembler software. That means these two different types of languages under low level language, this works in coordination with each other. That means in order to give a proper instruction to the computer, this machine language and assembly language has to coordinate with each other in order to give appropriate instruction to the computer. So now how it works is, now after the assembly language, how assembly language will be converted to machine languages, or how it coordinates is, now assembly language, whatever instruction is given under assembly language, now this assembly language program is converted into machine language. Now how it is converted into machine language is by using a software called assembler. Now assembler will help to convert whatever code is given, whatever instruction is given there inside the assembly language, and it will be converting into the machine language, after which the code or the instruction will be reaching towards the computer hardware. So this is how this first kind of languages or language, which is called as low level language, works. Now the second kind of language is high level language. So now what is the advantage of using high level language is, you can look here in this slide also. So it is user friendly. Second point, high level computer languages give formats close to English language. So this high level language is like English language also only. So that is why most of the programmer, they prefer to use high level language instead of low level language. Now third point, purpose of developing high level languages is to enable people to write programs easily and in their own native language environment, that is English. That means we can write the instructions of high level language in the native language environment, which is English, and it is very much easy to write programs here in this high level language as compared to low level language. Fourth point, high level languages are basically symbolic languages that use English words and or mathematical symbols rather than mnemonic codes. So now what is the difference between high level language and low level languages? In low level language, this low level language use different sort of mnemonics, different sort of symbols which will create many sort of complications while writing a program. Whereas high level language use simple language, human language, understandable human language, which is English. So some of the symbols will be written in English words also, and some will be written as mathematical symbols, which is very much easy to understand as a humans. So here in high level language does not use mnemonics or some codes. So instead of codes or mnemonics, so what is used is English words or mathematical symbols will be used here in high level language. Now point 5, each instruction in the high level language is translated into many machine language instruction, thus showing one-to-many translation. So here, in order to convert high level language, different sort of machine language instructions will be used or machine language will be used. So in our previous class, apart from learning about binary code, we have learned about interpreter and compiler also. So compiler and interpreter will be working here in this kind of language, that is high level language. So interpreter and compiler works in order to convert the human language or the English language into the understandable computer language. So it translates the language into the understandable computer language by going through different sort of process like compiling, translation process. So these are seen only here in high level language. So these instructions or codes which are given in high level language are very much easy to understand in compared to low level languages. So that is why most of the programmer they prefer to use high level language instead of low level languages. So some of the example of high level languages are C++, Java. So these are considered as the high level languages. Now a programming language should serve two related purposes. Now what is the use of having a programming language there in a computer world? So if programming language is there, so it has to serve two related purposes. The first one is it should provide a vehicle for the programmer to specify action to be executed. So this language has to provide or should work as a vehicle, so in between the programmer and the hardware. Second is it should provide a set of concepts for the programmer to use when thinking about what can be done. So it also should provide the concept of using that particular programming for different purpose there in a computer. So these are the two things that computer programming should serve for the users or the programmers. So my dear students, so in computer world, computer language is classified into two different types of languages, which are the low level languages and high level languages. So if we compare between low level language and high level language, so low level language is a little bit tough to understand and high level language is user friendly and it is very much easy to understand because it uses codes written in English words or sometimes in mathematical symbols. So mathematical symbols also will be used sometimes, and along with mathematical symbols English words also will be used in high level languages, and because of this only it will be easy for the user to understand this language, and it is very much easy to understand and write this programming format in high level languages. So that is why most of the programmer or the user prefer to use high level language instead of low level language, because in low level language it is very much hard to understand the codes because it use only the binary code like one made up of ones and zeros, and it uses machine language and assembly language which is very much hard to understand by a programmer. So my dear students, in today's class we have learned about two different types of languages which is very much important in our upcoming chapters. So I request you all to kindly watch this video very carefully and compare these things with the notes or the thing that is given in computer application textbook as well. So till then, stay safe, stay healthy, dedicate your time in studies. Thank you.